destiny.
Hello, everyone. Happy Friday and happy Sussex September. How excited are we? We're going to get to see Harry and Meghan next week, but today we also say a very happy birthday to Queen Doria. I'd actually forgotten that it was her birthday until I saw it up on the timeline. So well done to all the other squaddies who remembered. But this is the Queen who gave us our Queen. And how grateful we are that this woman raised Meghan to be the wonderful role model, Duchess, mother, women's advocate, humanitarian that she is. And what an amazing job you did, Mrs. Ragland. And, she's kept such a graceful, dignified silence in the face of everything. And I really admire her for that. She's a much better person than me, because I think if it was my daughter, I would just lose my mind and fight everyone. But I do believe that that dignified, graceful silence will be rewarded. I do think Miss Raglan will have her time when she wants to speak, and I do think we'll hear from her eventually and what she went through as Meghan's mother. But that time, it needs to be at the right time. I have had some suggestions that she could be the last speaker in the Archetypes podcast because there's two spaces that we don't know who those two spaces went to. And that would be absolutely wonderful if that was Doria because we haven't heard from her, unlike Megan's other parent. But happy birthday to her, and I hope she's having a wonderful day with Megan and her grandchildren. So, welcome everyone to the chat. Thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Let's just see who's in the chat. I think we've got all the usuals. Thank you so much, mods, as always. Georgina Walker, thank you for the super sticker, darling. Happy Friday to you. I love that you all are loving the song. I love it too. I heard it and I was like, yep, that's the one. That's the song that we're going with as we enter this new Sussex September era. Hello, Patricia. Hello to you and beautiful afternoon or evening, wherever you are. I have to say, this is one of those weeks where I am definitely feeling exhausted. I'm just like, I'm trying not to digest too much of the craziness. I think it's good that I actually don't have a television in my house, by the way. I haven't had one in my house for a while. Otherwise, I'd be so tempted to just constantly have the news and the morning talk shows on, and that would drain me even more. So I'm just glad that I don't have a TV in my house and I'm not absorbing too much of that mess. Thank you so much, Chef Sandy Love. Much appreciated, darling. Happy Friday to you. Yes, happy birthday to Mama Doria. Benjamin, this constant drip on Megan is sickening. I have never seen a group of people bitch and moan so much. Where is this so-called stiff upper lip? Exactly. So much complaining and explaining. Wait till they turn on each other after the Queen exits. Yeah, it's gonna get real ugly. When Betty's gone, real ugly. I mean, they're back with this Kate Queen in waiting nonsense. That's coming back. So I guess they're anticipating a Betty passing. It's so weird because I feel like in the Cam's camp, they're waiting on Betty to pass because they think that they're somehow gonna overstep Charles. On Charles's camp, they're waiting for Betty to pass because Charles is ready to be king and he's been waiting for 70 years. And we're all waiting because we know that once she's gone, they're just going to turn on each other, and that will basically be the end of the monarchy. Black Queen, I believe one of those spots will be Queen Doria speaking into existence. I'd be interested to hear what she has to say. She says anything about the media. She's kept a relatively low profile so far, and I don't know if she'd want to put herself out there too much at the moment, but I guess we'll see. Roseanne, I have not had a TV in my house since 2009. It really helps with my mental health. I 100% agree, especially the last 2.5 years. Just a lot of, I think at a certain point it went from public health awareness, which is a good thing, and we needed that. But at a certain point, especially here in the UK, I felt like it fed into fear mongering a little bit too much. So I'm really glad that I didn't have a TV. I just got my information from the government website, and that was it. Thank you so much, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. Yes, Joyce, Megan is one of the most famous women in the world. Like, there's no, there is no contesting that whatsoever. She has gone on a world tour with a podcast, number one in what, 10 countries? And she got back to number one again this week. So it's just going to be her back to number one every single Tuesday for the next 12 weeks. Thank you so much, Carol Purdy, for the super sticker. Much appreciated, darling. Happy Friday to you. All righty, I'm at the bottom of your comments, so we can officially get started. Righty ho. So Hello Magazine has a double spread in their current issue, and it's talking to Nacho. Well, this interview, I believe, was in the online version, but now here it is in the print version. So you can go get that copy of Hello magazine, and it's a very nice spread, very positive. Nacho speaking very positively of Harry and Meghan with some lovely pictures. Also, we did get an update from Africa Parks, and let me just go to the community tab because I did post it, and I'll just read some of the article. So, international delegation hosted by Africa Parks to learn about pioneering conservation efforts that benefit both the wildlife and people. So, leadership from conservation organization Africa Parks led a tour across national parks in Mozambique and Rwanda. So last month, Africa Parks, led by Africa Parks President Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, and CEO Peter Fernhead, welcomed groups of US public officials, conservationists, and philanthropists as they toured national parks in Mozambique and Rwanda to learn about the best practices in protected area management on the continent. The public private partnership model pioneered by Africa Parks is an example of how to successfully develop long term solutions to park management in partnership with government and local communities. That is very important with local communities because even conservation has been, quite frankly, colonized. So Africa Parks currently manages 22 national parks and protected areas in 12 countries, covering 200 million hectares. That is absolutely incredible, and good on Harry for getting that spot as the president of Africa Parks. Just another um, great accomplishment on Harry's side, doing his business while Meghan's doing hers, and they're doing it together. And that was a lovely picture from their meeting. So now we know why Harry spent that time in Mozambique and Rwanda. Fabulous. Also, over at Archwell, we have another update. So Archwell congratulates youth activism movement to design a safer internet, and we know that designing a safer internet and minimizing bullying and harassment online is a very important uh, topic for Harry and Meghan for reasons obvious, not just for what they have been through, particularly Meghan, but they have said many times that they want to create a safer and more enjoyable space for their children when they are of age and they can be online. And as individuals that are going to be in the public eye and watched. So the statement from Archwell reads, as at Archwell, we believe the internet is one of the most important tools for people to build community, mobilize for good, and create economic opportunity. And we have advocated for a number of years. We also think the internet needs better, safer, and needs to be a better, safer, and healthier place, especially for families. Today, we congratulate the incredible young people across California and the country who believed the same and took it up upon themselves to ask the tech industry to better protect kids in the design of social media platforms. The recent Design It For Us campaign helped raise awareness around a landmark new policy, the California Age Appropriate Design Code. Once finalized, will help ensure all kids in our state are safer when they're online. So you can go and read the full statement on the Archwell website for yourself. I've put it in the community tab. I think one of the very unfortunate things, though, and this is something that I have seen, and it's a very worrying trend. Pedophiles and predators have never had it easier because, unfortunately, the pimps are now the parents. It is shocking now how much parents are exploiting their children, and I do think when we look at these type of campaigns, we shouldn't just be looking at what children are looking at online. We should also be looking at how parents are unfortunately exploiting their children, and also looking at the parents' behavior as well. I feel like we're gonna one day have some kind of landmark case where a child takes their parent to court, and that's gonna set a precedent. So uh, that's if anybody who's, works in child protection or who happens to work for Archwell just happens to be listening, that's the only thing that I would say. I would like these campaigns to also look at the behavior of parents and not just protecting children. It has to be both, because if the parents are exploiting the children, that needs to be looked at as well. Also, in the Crown news, um, they have cast a. Sorry, guys, just one sec. There's a lot of noise in the background in my house. Just give me one moment. Okay, I'm so sorry. There was just so much noise and it was like it was really distracting me from focusing. Anyway, so yeah, they have cast a Kate Middleton and a William. So that is going to be in the Crown season 6. They look absolutely nothing like Kate and William, but that tends to be the case for the Crown. I don't know why that is. Is that something to do with legalities? They don't want them to look too much like the real people. But I do wonder, they said that they wouldn't bring the Crown all the way into the Harry and Meghan era. I wonder if they're now tempted to, just for ratings. Even though I feel like if they left it for another decade, so much stuff is going to come out that we're going to find out that it would be a lot more interesting if they left it. But I do wonder, with the Kate and William story, are they going to be more truthful with the storytelling than the false fairy tale that the British tabloids fed us? That's left to be seen. But yes, Kate and William will be in The Crown season 6. Go to your comments before we continue. Um, Bella, India has over 1 billion people, so to be number one in India and other densely populated countries on the Asian continent is a big deal. Yes. I mean, just the fact that Meghan can speak to so many people in so many different countries and they can all understand what she's saying. I'm not talking about like language, the English language. I'm talking about the actual message of what she's saying, because what she's saying is so relatable. It's so relatable to women, but also I think it's something that men also need to hear and need to be part of the conversation. Doris, and I think that William and Charles have information on each other. It will be do this or I'll let the public know. Watch this space. Yes. Yeah. When Betty's gone, oof, it's going to be something. And unfortunately, they're going to drag the whole nation into their mess. Karen, I can't wait for the next podcast because it gets better each week. Yes. I'm very much looking forward to it, even though I don't know a lot about Mindy Kaling. Like, this will be my chance to get to know her. And being a dark-skinned Asian woman, I'm really interested to hear from her and her experiences in Hollywood. Jones, the royal family did not appreciate the assets that the Sussexes were. Yes, indeed. Everybody else saw what their potential was, except for them. Cookies and cream. Tampon thinks that he and his canine consort will have an easy ride when the Queen passes. He's in for a rude awakening. People haven't forgotten what he did to Diana, and what he has done to the Sussexes. Yes, he really does think that he's going to have an easy ride, and I think it's that Emperor's New Clothes situation going on, right? They're just letting him know sorry, telling him what he wants to hear in the palace. But Charles is not going to be popular king. Kat Harlem, thank you so much for the super chat, darling. I don't see how Doria will fit into Archetype's agenda. I hope she doesn't participate. I also don't want to see Oprah, Hillary, or Michelle Obama. They have their own platforms to speak on the topic. Well, I do agree that I wouldn't want to see Oprah, Hillary, or Michelle. Yes, because they have their own platforms, and I feel like if they wanted to get their message out, they would. And I also just feel like those would be very, very predictable picks. So not that I'm opposed to Megan speaking with them, but I think for archetypes, I would prefer if it was just people that we don't always hear from, because all of those women have their own platforms, their own books, their own, everything. As for Doria not fitting into the archetypes agenda, hmm, hmm. Okay, I think I have to think a little bit more before responding to that one. But I guess we'll see. I mean, it's on my bingo card. I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for the super chat. Um, I think okay. Now I think I know how I'm going to respond to that. I think with Doria, how she might fit into the archetypes podcast is, I feel like there's a lot of preconceived notions about Black women, and the way in which they spoke about Doria, this whole uh campaign that was created on social media about she's a criminal, they calling her the dreadlock lady, this kind of automatic assumption of you being street, being criminal, being hood, being ghetto, um and she's been really just a picture of grace. If anybody has actually fit into any of those negative stereotypes, it's actually Thomas Markle. It's actually the Markle side, right? So I think maybe that's where she can maybe fit in a lot of the labels that we automatically assume of Black women. But we'll see. Marilyn Matthews, happy to see Mariah speak out in support of Meghan, and to verify her calling Meghan a diva was definitely a compliment. Yes, I saw that tweet. She said, I absolutely did call Meghan a diva, and I mean it in the most empowering way possible. And I love that she tweeted that. I mean, they must just be besides themselves. Meghan literally has some of the biggest stars on the planet in Hollywood speaking to her. And that is just not something that any royal has ever really done. And when they do it, it doesn't really make much of a splash. I mean, wasn't Kate playing tennis with like Emma Raducanu? She's like one of the biggest stars in tennis right now, and like it didn't even really make a blip on the radar. Sherry, Prince, whatever love is, has to be delusional. He thinks he and Seabiscuit, aka side piece, go into aka side piece, going once Gang meets her maker. Yes, I actually am looking forward to Charles reigning as king, just because I know it's going to be an absolute disaster. And I have material for this podcast for years. Karen, the problem with the UK tabloids is that the Sussexes do and think about others, have always fought for the underdog, whereas others in the UK can only offer a smile that benefits no one. Exactly. A smile and a wave. Smile and a wave. Okay. On to the next thing. Let's see now. Right. So we heard a couple of days ago that Charles was going to be guest editing the 40th edition, guest editing the Voice magazine's 40 years special. And it is out. Charles talking about how he's an ally, how he's inspired by the Black community. It's just vomit inducing. It's completely and utterly vomit inducing. I'll never forget that video of Charles and Camilla laughing at indigenous people who were like singing a traditional song, and they do it with this way. It kind of sounds like very like heavy huffing and puffing. I think they were Native Americans. I can't remember exactly who it was. But they were basically laughing, and there ain't no way someone who would be so disrespectful while someone is giving, while indigenous people are giving them a traditional performance, believes that diversity is our greatest strength, and is out here saying that the black community, is his inspiration or whatever it is he said. Just PR fluff. And I think this is embarrassing for The Voice. Um, as one commentator said, this is Jason Okunde said, "I'm sorry, this is just really embarrassing and disappointing, especially allowing this to be the lead story for a 40th anniversary issue. The Voice was founded a year after 1981 Brixton uprisings to give a megaphone to Black Brits. It's clear who gets to speak and who doesn't." Exactly. Just no racial integrity at all for some Black Brits, and it's very, very disappointing. Um, and this guy here saying we have the power to change the system. The master's tools will not dismantle the master's house, sir. Not at all. You don't see other communities doing this, and this is why it's important to really have integrity and to build your own community structures so that you don't have to bend to the whims of higher power. You can still be integrated and still be proud to be a British person and to have British identity, but to the point where you allow someone like Charles, who clearly doesn't have any care for his uh, biracial daughter-in-law and her children. This is just, I mean, what can I say? It's disappointing. And I think The Voice has lost a lot of respect from a lot of people for doing this. Sylvia Duchess says, "I'm sorry, Megan will never put her mother in that position." Well, I guess I guess it's really down to how Doria feels, but I mean, it's just a guess, guys and dolls. Whether or not Megan does it, I guess it's left to be seen. I mean, I didn't expect to see Doria at the NAACP Awards, did you? See, Clarence House mouthpiece Holmes said on TV that they were waiting for the Queen to die to respond to that woman. Wait, they're waiting for the Queen to die to respond to Megan what? Oh gosh. Oh, this island is just embarrassing. When the monarchy knows that they are disliked by people of color around the world, this is Charles's guest editor. It's nothing but PR and window dressing. Exactly. That's exactly what this is. All right. On to the next thing. So the BBC is going to donate the 1.4 million to 7 charities um linked to Diana in an apology for the Panorama interview. I don't believe for a second that that interview only brought in 1.4 million. Secondly, BBC is funded by the public. So it's not like they're really losing anything by giving that donation. And more than anything, I just think that probably what Diana would have wanted was to not be silenced. So this to me just appears to be window dressing. And I wonder if the palace was involved in this at all. But listen, as far as the Bashir interview goes, as far as I'm concerned, I think a lot of people are concerned. Diana said what she said, what she said. Um, Regardless of how that interview was obtained, whether it was obtained by nefarious means or whether it or not it was obtained legitimately, I still feel that Diana would have said the same thing. Because let's just say that the interview was obtained in a legitimate manner. Would Diana have gone on and said, "Oh, the royal family is wonderful"? Of course not. So that's the BBC. Um, on to the next thing. Yes. Wait, cost of living crisis continues, and now, according to Bloomberg, Britain has dropped behind India to become the world's sixth largest economy. The former British colony jumped past the UK in the final 3 months of 2021 to become the fifth biggest economy. So we are going down, down, down. It continued. The UK's decline down the international rankings is an unwelcome backdrop for the new Prime Minister and comes in the final few days of Boris Johnson's time in power. Either Liz Truss or Rishi Sunak will take over a UK that's facing the fastest inflation in 4 decades and risk of a recession that the Bank of England says may last into 2024. By contrast, the Indian economy is forecast to grow more than 7% this year. So you've got other economies growing, the UK slipping, and there was somebody tweeted something I had on a slide, I think just summed this up so well. And they said, this is anybody there on Twitter? They said, we need to stop one of the richest nations in the world. Sorry, we need to stop the one of the richest nations in the world fairy tale. We are a rich country full of poor people. We are a rich country full of poor people. That couldn't be more true because a lot of the wealth is concentrated. We continue to vote for the rich people who keep them. We continue to vote for rich people who keep the poor people poor. Brexit was done to stop us looking at how people in less rich countries live much better lives. Couldn't agree with that anymore. I feel like in so many ways, a lot of British people have internalized their suffering. They wear it like some kind of badge of honor. I think this is why someone like Meghan was just so irritating because it's like she was. I feel like Meghan was like, a glitch in the matrix, right? And some people, when they see a glitch, they they are brave enough to explore it and embrace that. Okay, maybe there's something here that I couldn't see before, and other people reject it completely. And I also think it's one of the reasons why another one of the reasons why Meghan gets so much hate because she, as a person, knows that she deserves to have the best that life can offer you, and everybody should feel that way. But here it's like you're made to feel like you should apologize for wanting the best in life, that you should apologize for wanting to live well. And it's like I said before, it's that culture that we have here that's very different from the US, where you are praised for your success. But there were some other really interesting hot takes on Twitter. Bell Rubio MP saying in Spain, train journeys under 300 kilometers are free until the end of 2020. France's energy bills are only rising by 4%. Germany has cut public transport to €9. That's only £7 um 70 a month. In the UK or in London at least for 1 month in like the four main zones, you're looking at £200 a month. £200 a month just to travel to work. It's madness. And our government is telling people to buy a new kettle. Yes, that is not a joke. Boris Johnson was on TV telling people that they should spend £20 on a kettle to save £10. And you had Jeremy Corbyn come out and say the energy price cap will raise by 80% to over £3,000 next month. I have wondered on this channel for some time how the cost of living crisis is going to affect the royal family. And will this continue to put a dent in the royal family's popularity? Now, there have been some protests against the rise of the cost of living here in the UK. So far, nothing really directed at the royals, but I do think more and more people are going to start asking, why are we spending so much on these people if the subjects cannot afford to eat? And I'm hoping that once more people start asking that question, they'll start also asking, why is the press so focused on Harry and Meghan? I'm hoping that's the chain of events that will come out of this cost of living crisis. Let's go to your comment before we carry on. Sylvia, Patricia, you are right. My comment to you is in pieces of supporter. I find that when it comes to the others, we can see and don't see when it comes to them. Sorry, I don't know what you meant by that. That I guess that was to someone else. I love that you guys all have conversations in the chat. Cookies and cream. What the voice did was a slap in the face to every person of color. They allowed a proven staunch racist to guest edit the magazine. Exactly. I mean, of all the people in the UK that you could have chosen, Baron said something really interesting in his podcast the other day that really got me thinking. He said he couldn't think of one black Brit self-made billionaire, and neither could I. That is so wild. And I can think of a handful from the US, or maybe not billionaires, but like multi millionaires, like 100 million plus. I don't even know, other than maybe like footballers, anyone who's like self-made and has like 100 million plus. I can't think of it. If there are any black Brits in the comment section who can, please let me know. I can think of so many white self-made billionaires in the UK, but none black. None. I think that really says something. Um, Oh, okay. Black Queen, you said, "Hi, Arnold. I hope you get better soon." Oh, are you ill, Arnold? Please feel better soon. Sorry, I missed your comment where you said that. Please feel better. I hope you don't have the Mr. C, do you? Nikki, England is in crisis. Things will continue to get worse this winter. The Brits are so paralyzed by their class structure and the continued royal rota brainwashing. Meghan was never the issue. No, she was never the issue, but she's now the distraction, and it's just wild. Like, I just can't believe that Britain is it. We are basically Europe's North Korea. Like this whole situation is making me look at my country in a completely different way. Black Queen, Arnold Sanders informed us that he had a stroke. Oh my goodness. He's now on the mend. He stopped by a few minutes ago and may be watching. Let us pray for your health. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Arnold. I hope you're doing well. Like a stroke is it's no joke at all. And I'm glad that somebody was actually able to spot that you had a stroke and was able to help you. Um, I don't. Okay, let me not. There's another squaddy who's actually quite ill at the moment, but I don't know how public she's made this, so I'm not gonna say it now. But just do please just send your prayers to the squad universe, and I do hope you get better soon, Arnold. Thank you so much for your support as always, and thank you, Black Queen, for the super chat and letting me know, or else I would have missed that. The comments go so quickly. Sometimes I miss things. A girl Lewis. What about Adele? Um, Mm, did Adele reach that 100 million mark? And she's a performer. So I'm thinking more like business people, industry people, outside of entertainers and footballers, you know. Kim, and the same thing is happening in America, a rich country of poor people. Middle class America is being squeezed into being the working poor. The top 1% has doubled their wealth. Yes, that is true. Especially in the last 2 years. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Not everybody suffered during the Mr. C pandemic. A lot of people made a lot of wealth, including A lot of people here in the UK, there's a whole scandal because of the PPE. The Tory government were just handing out contracts to their friends and not handing out contracts to people who were meant to make PPE to help people during the pandemic. So that's another issue we have here in the UK. The country is effectively turned into kleptocracy. But Meghan is the main problem, yeah. Yes, Marilyn. Harry and Meghan are the distraction. Um. Okay. And so the UK press are so peeved that Archetypes is doing so well. They're now trying to somehow dismiss the numbers. So they were basically trying to say that Spotify are manipulating the numbers and how can Meghan be at number one? Um, by saying, well, there's a difference in top podcasts and top episodes. Well, as this person rightly pointed out, this person's account is DM Reporter, but they're an anti-DM Daily Mail account. As they rightly pointed out, so the top podcast accounts for overall followers and more unique listeners, right? Whereas top episodes accounts for what has been listened to that day. So that's why Archetypes was number 25 in top episodes, but number one overall in top podcasts. So they're trying to paint a false narrative that Spotify are manipulating the numbers, which they're just not. Um, given that Joe Rogan's podcast gets what I think 11 million listeners per episode, you can't underestimate just how incredible it is that Meghan managed to knock him off the number one spot, because Rogan has been around for years, I think almost a decade, and he already has a built-in audience. So amazing accomplishment by Meghan that they're just trying to downplay. And Miss Sarah Vine crawled out of the cave that she was living in and wrote an article calling Meghan's article with the cut narcissistic drivel. Narcissistic drivel, and yet here you are with that airbrushed photo, Miss Vine. The fact that she actually probably copied and pasted Meghan's article into Word and did that word count just to know how many words were in that article. And this is the woman who said that she had a niggling feeling about Harry and Meghan's marriage. Girl, you should have focused on your own marriage. You should have focused on your own marriage to Michael Gove, which has now ended in divorce, instead of focusing on other people's lives and other people's marriages. She is truly a nasty piece of work. I actually saw an interview with her where she fully admits that the press is nasty, and she almost just like laughs it off, like, oh well, that's just how it is. These people are cold-hearted, they're nasty, they live for their status in society, for their status in Britain's class system. And what is it even worth? Because you're absolutely miserable, your marriage is in shambles. Apparently, one of her children was found um walking aimlessly around a hotel unattended because her and her husband had gone out. So she needs to focus on her own life, and all of these women and commentators like her need to focus on their own lives that are an absolute mess, and leave Harry and Meghan alone. It is just truly vile that they keep going after her. And they can claim all they want that the coverage about Meghan hasn't been racist at all. I mean, look at this. Who can forget the BBC skit where they showed Meghan as knifing Kate? And one of the things that struck me about this particular skit, and actually it was when this skit came out, this was my what the hell is going on moment when I first started to investigate why Meghan was being treated poorly by the tabloids. This was kind of the moment where I went, "Oh, something's going on here," because I wasn't really too invested in the royal family or even what's going on with Meghan and Harry before this. This was like my aha moment. And one of the first things that struck me is if you actually look at the caricature that they used for Meghan, the skin is significantly darker. And Meghan is white passing. So they went out of their way to actually make her look darker just to reinforce this angry black woman trope for the skit where she knifes Kate. And now they're trying to spin this narrative that Meghan is losing favor in the US. And I don't know how you can speak for over 300 million people. There are over 300 million people in the United States. I don't know why a British tabloid is speaking for a whole nation of people that rejected the British anyway. So again, I think they're just they they know that Meghan is coming back. They know that William and Kate are going over to the US, and they're trying to spin this false narrative and false reality. But the actual reality and the truth is going to be revealed when both camps make their appearances. And I honestly think that Meghan and Harry will be received very, very well, both in the UK and in Germany. And I do not believe that William and Kate will be received well in the US at all. I actually think that that is going to be an absolute disaster, just as the Caribbean tour was. Boney, they could have used the Rega Sauce guy. Yeah, he was very successful. So yeah, that's one of the few that I can think of. Very successful guy. But in terms of business, I mean to that level, not that many that aren't in entertainment. There's not that many in business and industry. And to be honest, that's where the power is. Certainly none that I can think of that are so powerful that they could actually shift policy. Like in the US, you have some people who are so rich they literally shift policy, like the Koch brothers or the Rockefellers. Like I can't think of any like black equivalents here in the UK. Joyce, I can think of 3 billions off the top of my billionaires off the top of my head in the US. Jay-Z, Tyler Perry, Oprah, yeah, and several millionaires. Oh, several millionaires. Uh, Cinderella, will the UK ever have a black PM? I don't think so. I think we're more likely to have an Asian PM than a black PM. Thank you so much for your prayers for Arnold. Mhm. Valerie, there are a lot of things going on because the press are not showing it. Enough is enough campaign. Bernie Sanders is speaking at the RMT. Yes, I did see that. Him coming over. I mean, Bernie, I think will speak to Labour supporters. I guess. And the unions. Um, so I think he's definitely going to be welcomed by Labour. I just don't know. I don't know in terms of what impact that is going to have. Having an American politician here. Um, but he will definitely be welcomed by Labour for sure. Because mind you, if Bernie was a Labour politician here in the UK, he would probably win. I think he would definitely win in the UK. I think he'd get a lot more support than what he did in the US just because of his policies. Um, also, I will say, even though we are going through a recession and cost of living crisis, recessions are actually when wealth is made, and I definitely encourage you to go and look up YouTube videos on how to make money during a recession, what to invest in during invest while assets are still cheap because the market runs on a cycle, and now is actually the time to buy up any cheaper assets, especially on the stock market. So go and research that. Lips and lashes. Are you Victoria Arbiter's lashes? Go and find your owner. UK's become the joke of the world. Well, it's very, very frustrating because I am still here, but I'm trying not to internalize too much of it. Like with the prime minister, the new prime minister that's coming in, I haven't really paid attention to that at all. Because in my mind, I'm just like, I will be out of here in the next few years. So I'm trying not to let it affect me too much. And I'm privileged enough that I know that I'm in a position where I, can work remotely and make that happen. But I do feel so sorry for anybody else who kind of fixed and stuck here. Sheila James, allegedly, supposedly, even Peter Phillips set up a Rona testing company so he could get his millions. Not sure how much testing he actually did. Oh, okay. I'll look into that. That's interesting. Oh, Jackie, the man who owns Gatwick Airport is a Nigerian British millionaire. Oh, really? What's his name? What is his name? Did not know that. Yes, Jessica, Sarah Vine is catfishing herself. So quickly on to Mandela's grandson. Now, he spoke to the Daily Fail, and the British tabloids have continued to do journalistic research with a small j on the comment that Meghan made. Now, listen, that South African person, whoever they were, just made a comment in passing. He probably just said it to make Megan feel better because, I mean, this is at a time when she was going through a lot. There have been videos circulating of South Africans dancing and enjoying the wedding. You can't tell me that there probably weren't people in South Africa who were enjoying the wedding. I mean, Harry and Meghan's wedding was the most watched around the world, so there were people dancing and enjoying the wedding everywhere. But they're making such a big deal out of this. And as Denise Welch said, it would be great if the same amount of journalistic research went into who was on Epstein's flights as goes into trying to catch Meghan out. And the Daily Fail is truly, truly disgraceful. They're carrying on with this. But what was so interesting is I looked again into actually what Mandela's grandson said. And he actually said, he told the Mail Online he was surprised at her remarks in the Cut magazine when she claimed that 3 years ago a cast member of The Lion King had told her we rejoiced in the streets the same we did when Mandela was freed from prison. He declared that every day there are people who want to be Nelson Mandela, either comparing themselves with him or wanting to emulate him. Today he told The Times that his advice to the former actress was get out there, pull up your sleeves, and better the lives of ordinary people, which Meghan is doing, in England and the United Kingdom, adding, for the personality she is, she can do a lot of good in the global community by adopting the causes that Mandela championed. So, he did actually say something positive about Meghan, but this has not been mentioned in any of the headlines. It's like they've run with this, Mandela's grandson um was basically slacking Meghan off headline. He actually said something that was quite nice. Mind you, he's not exactly the nicest person himself. He was involved in a sex scandal. He was accused of trying to plot to make millions from Mandela's death. So these are the people who the Daily Fail go running to um, whenever they need to try to prove a point against Meghan. And let's not forget that they are furious still that Meghan won her court case. They were embarrassed and they will be embarrassed again. I honestly think that this smear campaign that the UK press has going against Meghan is going to result in one of the biggest libel cases of all time. I really do. Because I've never seen anything like this. ever in any country with any press going after one person like this for literally doing nothing. I mean, she's getting a level of prosecution that treasonous world leaders do simply for existing. And the British press should just be ashamed of yourself. I'm sick of it. I'm sure you're sick of it. But I do think Judgment Day will come for these people because this can't continue forever. This can't continue forever. Little by little, I'm seeing people get increasingly fed up, and I do believe that the British press um they will have their day in court. Also, there is a channel called, just give me a sec. Oh, Sussex Squad Family TV. And he did a video called "Is Dan Wooten and Piers Morgan's tweet proof that Prince William is behind the smear campaign against Meghan?" Now, I've posted that on the community tab. First of all, go subscribe to that channel. Let's get his subscriber count up and watch that video. I posted it on the community tab because it is so well done. He actually puts all of the tweets and news articles together and kind of puts the um picture of the puzzle all together so you can see, how Piers Morgan's tweets relate to Dan Wooten's articles. And for sure, they are all in on this smear campaign. I have no doubt whatsoever that they are getting sources and money from the palace, and it's just a matter of time before they're all exposed. But with that, I am done for this podcast. Thank you all so much for coming. As usual, I will take your comments and then we will call it a day. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. FYI, I would also like to say thank you so much for your amazing donations because I am going to be able to get a replacement battery for my laptop. I figured out that that's what the problem was. The laptop in general is fine. I won't need to get a new one, thank goodness, because that would just be too expensive. I just need to replace the battery. So thank you so much for your super chats and super stickers because now I'll be able to afford the battery change because that was an extra expense that I was not planning. Thank you so much, guys and dolls. All right, let's put a nice picture of Megan while we're going through the comments. Let's see. Veronica, they don't want the crowd to show up to cheer for them while they're in the UK. No, they definitely don't want that. I think they will be very upset. But Manchester's a very liberal, very diverse city, and I have no doubt that people will show up. Nigerian Commonwealth, where Rihanna's a billionaire, yes. And in fact, she's an immigrant, and she was still given an opportunity and still given the platform to shine and become the American dream. Nikki, Hmm. Okay, we admire Meghan and appreciate her work ethic in the USA. We don't want to see Will or Kate in our country. They're pathetic, lazy, and serve absolutely no purpose. No, thank you. Well, please let it be known when they get there. Wendy, the Cambridge US engagement will end on a whimper, whereas the Sussex UK visit will be talked about around the world. Yes, for sure. Black Queen, ain't that sad? Black people built the economic foundation of Shutter Island and all of Europe and the Americas. Yeah, so much labor went to helping, build Britain, and you still struggle to make it here. Sons and ladies Are you gonna watch Serena later? No, but only because I don't have a TV. Otherwise, I would. I'll watch the highlights. Rochelle, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife gave away 12 billion in the last 3 years, and vowed to give all of it away to poor people and people of color. Wow, I didn't know that. Very generous of her. Cinderella and come to America. Guys and dolls, we've had this conversation. uh, listen. I mm, I would, I would love to come to the US. I would honestly love to come to the US. It would be my first choice, but I just think at this point of my life, it may be a bit of a culture shock and too much of a change for me to move there. I think I'm just better off staying somewhere within Europe for now at least, or until I'm earning a certain level of income, because money is also another concern. I think if I was to get to a certain level of comfortable income, then I might change my mind and come to the US. So it's not completely out of the question, but just also in terms of immigration and kind of ease of settling into the culture, and the country, with visas and residency and all of that, it would just be a lot easier for me to move. Even with Brexit, it's still relatively easy. Like if I was to move to Portugal, it's 3 months and then you get residency permit and then the path to immigration and getting a passport, it's still a lot easier for me, even post Brexit. So never say never, but it's not part of the plan now. Marjorie, so hi Sylvia Dixon, like Duchess of Success said, there are unhappy in their lives, so I guess they hate on others who have loving relationships and good success. Yes, a lot of these commentators are absolutely miserable. And you would be if your social circle is full of snakes. I mean, the way they treat anyone who they see as a threat, how must they treat each other? I don't think any of these people are really fit. Do you think any of the royal rodents are friends? They like each other? I mean, what must their friendship circles be like? Like Lavender, it was suggested that for Meghan to succeed, she needs to leave the royal trauma behind. Can you believe such nonsense? I think that she has every right to talk about what happened to her in that institution. And she's only given all but two interviews, detailing, and at the same time, the British press write hundreds of articles about her every single day. So why is it that they can write about her experience and speak for her and she can't? Rusi, I will be back in Africa in less than 2 years. England is not for me anymore. I've heard so many people now buying up land and really regretting that they put too much uh, of their money and resources here, and that they should have been investing more back home. So that's a sentiment that I've heard, um, or that's becoming more and more common. And I wish you well on your journey back home. Sheila James, the new prime minister won't make any difference. Margaret Thatcher sent the UK on a path it is now. Reagan did the same with the US, privatization of the country into the hands of a few. Exactly, Sheila James. And this is another thing that they are distracting us from. And it's just wild how much Meghan alone, Meghan, who's not even from the UK, is being used to distract from that. Oi, it's just wild. But yes, I do agree. Margaret Thatcher, she was, I think, the starting point, and even a lot of Labour politicians that came after her. were Thatcher light. Tony Blair was Thatcher light. He was not for the working class, at all. And he also didn't like Diana too much. A Black Queen, the dude is crazy. She had been doing good for a long time. Oh, which dude is that? Oh, you're talking about Mandela's grandson. Okay. Oh, he's a grifting pox on his grandfather's memory. Unbelievable. Indeed. Benny Blair, any Nigerian billionaire in Britain brought that wealth to Britain. He did not make that money here. Yes, that's a very good point. Likely made it in oil or even nefarious government dealings and then invested in the UK. It's a good point. Andreen, British media trying to ruffle some feathers before Harry and Meghan get to Africa. Yeah, it's unfortunate the way that they've tried to use South Africans to basically against Meghan, but I think most people just haven't fallen for it. They were received so well when they were in South Africa, and nobody can forget those amazing images. So, um, yeah, they're gonna try everything. We just have to be there to push back against the narrative. Yes, that's Brian from that channel. I only came across his videos yesterday actually, and I really like the way he conveys his message, the way he speaks, the way he's so passionate. So I'll definitely be watching him more. I like his style. Ruthie, I no longer watch television, especially talk shows, because they are toxic, especially when it comes to Meghan. Yes, they're toxic with everything, but especially when it comes to Meghan. During Commonwealth, Labor Day is Monday. We have a 3-day weekend. Well, enjoy your 3-day weekend. Thank you so much, Caroline. Thank you so much for supporting. All right. Who's going to get the last word of the day? Annie Bullard. We've got. Is that receipts? And they don't. Yes, I have been posting. If you haven't gone back and watched, I have been posting receipts since yesterday. I came across 3 different videos, basically outing the press and Piers Morgan, who admitted in a documentary. So this was before the wedding, when he thought that he could maybe get an invitation, and that he could be Meghan's friend. That the royal family has a race problem. He literally said that, and that was also in a documentary where Paul Burrell, Diana's butler, spoke about the way the royal family felt about Meghan. Close the shutters. There's an invasion. That's coming out of Paul Burrell's own mouth. And there's another video that I posted where he talks about yeah, that he's upset that he got ghosted. Dude, you were never friends. And then third video I posted about 6 hours ago was a bunch of commentators on a talk show, and one of them mentions about Prince William's fruity personal life, and then the other commentator tries to play dumb, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then there's a woman who's like, "Oh no, can't talk about it because of the lawyers." So they all know. They all absolutely know. Um, Rebar, the UK media wants to silence Harry and Meghan. Those days are over. Well and truly over. I mean, let's be honest. If Harry and Meghan, especially Harry, wanted to end the monarchy today, this very moment, they could. They absolutely could. And the way things are going, I honestly think it's going to come to a point where it's either Harry and Meghan, Harry and Meghan just spill all the beans, before something happens to them. Because I keep on asking, how is this going to end? How is this going to end? It's just getting nastier and nastier and nastier. I honestly think it's either the British press are destroyed and embarrassed, or the British press are going to destroy Harry and Meghan. It's one or the other. But I have faith that Harry and Meghan are going to come out the winners. Diana hasn't quite gotten her last laugh, but she will. I have faith in that. Whitland, come to California. We'll help you make a great transition. If I was going to move anywhere, it would definitely be California, I think, for sure. I need sun, I need beach, I need nature. So I don't know anywhere else I would go other than Florida, and Americans tell me all types of interesting things about Florida, so it couldn't be there. So yeah, if I was going to move, for sure it would be California. But do you know what I would love? I would actually love like a second home in California. That would be lovely. Doris Ann, have you heard that the South Africans vindicated and agreed with the Duchess regarding the fire? Yes, I read the article and statement. Was it yesterday's podcast or the day before? Rochelle, how will the people in the UK pay 3,500 monthly cost for utilities? I actually think that a lot of people aren't going to pay. There is a campaign called Don't Pay going. I think that on the October, sorry. August is gone. October 1st. They're basically saying everybody shouldn't pay. But it takes group effort. And I don't know. I don't know if the UK has the backbone to be able to collectively push back and say no. They're not like the French here. Like the French would do that. If there were like unions that told French people don't pay on October 1st, everybody would do it. That collective allyship is just not here. All right. Who's going to get the last word of the day? Who's going to get the last word of the day? Marina, was the link posted for Brian's channel? It's in the community tab, hun. I posted a link to his video, so if you follow the video, you'll find the link to his channel. Joseph, they consider Meghan such a threat says more about the fragility, weakness, and inadequacy of the firm than it does about Meghan's intentions. Exactly. You're a 2,000-year-old institution, and you're frightened by a 5'6" woman from California. Really? Andreen, all of their trash turned into a sport to them. British press can't handle defeat. No, they absolutely cannot. Black Queen. No, Florida. Not the Florida. I love you guys. All right. SM do. I'm gonna give you the last word of the day. Enjoy your weekend, Anne and Squaddies. Great podcast once again. Well, you all make it great, and I appreciate you all. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye. I know I messed it up, but in my soul, I feel a love for you that's out of control. Sometimes I feel like I can make you whole. I just can't change my emotions. There isn't anything I wouldn't do to prove that everything I say is true. And if you let me, I keep loving you. I just can't change my emotions. Come on, love me again. You're all I need.
time to say